Hello, my friends. Happy hump day. We are Wednesday, January 16th, and I wanted to continue on my theme of goal setting today to talk about a big mistake that people make when setting goals and how it gets in the way of creating what it is that you want, how it gets in the way of actually following through and achieving those goals. So I think in some of my other videos, I've talked a bit about the importance of setting goals from your heart instead of from your head, and being willing to be in the inquiry rather than needing to know exactly everything that you want to achieve and how you're going to achieve it, because that in itself can be a barrier to things opening up and opportunities opening up for us. But anyway, one of the biggest challenges that I find people have is they set goals, but those goals are not actually the goals that they want. So they set goals from their head, and so the goals are related to things that they think they want, things that they think they should want, things that society and social media and Facebook tell them that they should want. And then sometimes the goals when we're in business can even be focused on like industry standards. So industry standard tells us that there's a certain way of doing business in that industry, that we should have certain goals that we're striving for. And so, we write down those goals. And the thing is, if we set goals that we think we want, or that the industry tells us that we should want, the likelihood of us achieving those goals is super low. And it's so important for us to have a process, whether it's meditation or going for a walk or going within, some way of checking in with your body and your system to really get a sense of what is it that I really want? Is that really the thing? So I want to give you two examples. So last week I was working with one of my clients, and she had already set a bunch of goals for herself related to her business, and she had got on her calendar and scheduled out all of this time, and every Monday she wanted to make 40 calls to key realtor clients of hers, and she had this kind of list of things that every week she wanted to do. But she was finding only the very beginning of January, the first week after setting those goals, she said to me, Kate, I'm just not following through. I can't get my act together. I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong. Can you please help me find some motivation to follow through with these goals? So of course, the first thing I did was check in with her and ask, how do these goals feel in your system? Are they really the things? And for example, industry standard told her that she was supposed to reach out to a certain amount of people every week because that was the best way to create lead generation. But the thought of that made her want to curl up into a ball and die. She really didn't want to do it. She was struggling to do it. She was exerting so much resistance and then beating herself up. But she has all of these financial goals for her business that requires her to have more lead generation. So she wanted to, make these calls. So we worked through it and soon realized that she doesn't like making those calls, and that was something that she could easily delegate to someone else in her team. And through this process, we got connected to what it is that she loves about what she does. And she loves connection, she loves authenticity, and she loves creating relationships. So we went back and looked at all of the goals that she had set for herself and try to link those back to creating more connection, more authenticity, and really being there and showing up for her clients. And what were the ways that she could do that? So when she is now, she's taking a different approach. She has delegated some of those calls, and then the calls that she does make, she doesn't have a set list of people that she thinks that she should reach out to. She checks in with herself and asks herself, who do I feel inspired to reach out to today? Who do I want to connect with today? So we completely reframed those calls from a goal that she felt like she should do, and we connected with what it is that she loves, what brings her alive, what does she really want, and then set in place a process for making some calls each week, but when it comes from a place of wanting to reach out and connect, wanting to be authentic and create those relationships. Because let's face it, if you're making calls from the headspace, from the energy of, I have to do this, I want to curl up and die, I really don't want to do this, and there's all this resistance and resistance energy that you're bringing to this task, the likelihood of you, A, doing it is much lower, B, following through and doing it on a consistent basis is much lower, and you're much less likely to have impact and generate any leads when you're showing up in the energy of resistance. But if you're really connected to what it is you love, like, why are you reaching out to these people? What is the purpose? And the purpose isn't to make more money or to get more leads. The purpose is to create a connected and authentic business, and to build and develop those relationships, and to make the people and your clients and the people that you work with feel supported. There is a much greater likelihood that you're going to follow through with that action, because that action feels good, it feels aligned, and you've connected to what it is that you really want. The second example I would give is of myself. So I have, put on about 30 pounds since I moved to the United States and had kids, and I'd really like to lose that weight. But I have struggled to find some kind of exercise or healthy regime that's easy for me to follow through with. My blood pressure's a little high, my blood sugar's a little high, so my doctor said, hey, it'd be really good for you to do more exercise, to carefully look at your diet. But no matter how hard I try, I hadn't, up until quite recently, been able to follow through or stick with anything. So I took my own advice and I checked in and I said to myself, Kate, what is it that you really want? And when I asked, do I want to look different? Do I care what my body looks like? The answer was actually, nah, not really. Like, of course I don't look exactly the way that I want to look, but I can accept myself and love myself this way. And so, looking different is not a big enough motivating factor for me to do anything different. And so then I asked about my blood pressure, and I asked about the blood sugar. And I know that I should want to improve those, but when I checked in, the answer was actually, nah, that's not bad enough. It's not a big enough motivating factor for me to, follow through with any kind of action. But when I got really clear on what is it that I actually want, I want more energy to put into my business, and I want more energy at the end of the day to spend time with my husband and my kids. So I want unlimited, sustained energy each and every day. I want to wake up with energy, and I want to go to bed at night having had the maximum amount of energy possible and available to me to really live a full and fulfilling life. And that goal feels really aligned in my body. And since I've connected to that, I've been getting up early, doing yoga and going for a walk, because I asked myself, what are going to be the things that give me the most energy? And it's not heavy weights right now, and it's not high intensity interval training right now. It's simply yoga and walking, and it has been super easy for me to follow through. I've also cut out sugar. So those three things have been really easy for me to commit to. I've made that commitment to myself because I was able to connect with what is it that I really want, more energy. I've been able to make a commitment to myself to get up and do the yoga and the walking, because they're the things that I know that bring me energy. So, and I think making a commitment is very different to feeling like you have to have, self-discipline or motivation. It kind of takes that element of control, and it's more of an empowering way to look at it. So, my invitation to you, if you've set goals for yourself, would you be willing to go back and have a look at them and see, okay, like, how do these goals feel in my body? Do they actually feel aligned? The things that I've set for myself, when I think about them, am I filled with trepidation and fear? Do I feel like I want to curl up in a ball? Or when I feel into those goals, do they feel aligned? Do they feel like it's actually what I want, coming from my heart, not from my head? Am I connected to what I want, not what the industry standard is telling me that I should want and do in my life and my business? Because yes, we can learn, we can take advice from industry standards, and we can look at how other people have built and grown their businesses. And those things have obviously worked for them. But you are a unique individual with your own gifts and talents. There'll be things that you love and things that you don't love. So can you connect to the ones that feel aligned for you, instead of forcing yourself to do something that you think you're supposed to do? And even, there may be times where you're like, nope, I absolutely have to follow the industry standard. So is there a way that you can support yourself to get in a better frame of mind or a better mindset in order to do that? So going for a walk prior, or doing something that gets you centered and grounded and balanced before you take action. So when we're setting goals and taking action, and setting up systems and processes to support us to create those goals, one of the most important steps I feel like we can all take is to get out of our head, check in with our body, check in with our system, ask ourselves, how does this goal feel? Does it feel aligned? Is this something that I actually want, instead of something that we think we want or think we should want? And one of the biggest reasons that we can't follow through is when we set goals that aren't the things that we really want. So if it's something that you actually don't really want, it's going to be so much harder to follow through, to stay motivated and to stay, committed to that. So go back this week, see if you can take some time, reflect on your goals, close your eyes, check in with your system and your body. Is this what I really want? Really listen. Because just because industry standard is that we're supposed to do something a certain way, just because social media and TV tells us that we're supposed to look a certain way and want certain things and to create certain things in our life, doesn't mean that those things are going to be right for you. And if they're the goals that you've set for yourself, you may find that you have trouble following through and creating that. And I want you to absolutely create the best life and the best business possible for yourself. And so that can start now, that can start this year in January, with you checking in and asking yourself, what is it that I really want? Can I set everything else aside, all the shoulds, the supposed tos, the have tos, and ask you as a unique creative being, what is it that I want? And then set your goals and your actions around those, And also continue to be open to the inquiry. Instead of needing to know step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 and how you're going to achieve them for the year, just allow yourself to hold the intention, knowing that that is what you want to create, and be open to the inquiry. And you can be amazed at what the universe will bring you and how the universe will support you to achieve that if you are open to that guidance instead of needing to know. So, set goals from your heart, check in with your system, make sure it's what you really want. The biggest reason we fail is because we set goals that we think we're supposed to set. And then the third thing is, instead of needing to know exactly how you're going to achieve the goals, be willing to be in the inquiry. And again, I always say this at the end, if you want support, if you want to talk about your goals, if you want some support to check in with those and see, are these actually the things that I want, then send me a message and I would love to chat. So happy Wednesday, everyone. I hope your week is going well, and I will hopefully be back tomorrow. Bye.